This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some pretty big updates to share with you. Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer are talking again about upcoming legislation, and Chuck Schumer came out with a huge announcement of different stimulus provisions. Take a look at this quick clip right here.
We're pushing legislation to lower the cost of putting food on the table, fight price gouging at the pump, keep the cost of insulin affordable, relieve supply chain crisis.
And he goes on and on about a lot of other things. I'll play you the full clip later on. And the big question is, what about Joe Manchin? Well, Joe Manchin says that there is no Build Back Better revival. I'll give you more details on that whole situation. Also, the latest stimulus check news, like the $2,000 water stimulus checks, new $600 and $800 stimulus checks, and financial relief that is getting bipartisan support. And I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below, and I'm giving $200 to my subscribers in just 2 days, and I'll talk more about that later on in the video. But first, Manchin and Schumer discuss new tax hike and deficit cut proposal. Now that the Senate is back in session, looks like they're trying to get a lot of things done. There's about 5 to 6 weeks where they could get something done before it's time to go for votes with midterm elections. So holdout senator open to smaller Democrat-only budget package. Corporate tax increases would be used to cut the deficit. And the White House is a little anxious. So the White House fears mount inside the White House that Manchin won't agree to any deal. I'll give you more details of what Joe Manchin says. But first, here's all the big promises of the quick clip I showed you before of Chuck Schumer talking more about that. Take a look.
We had a very good discussion at our lunch today, and we're at the starting line of a 5-week work period. Democrats are focused on making it as productive as the last work period, which was extremely productive. We'll continue working on legislation to lower costs and improve Americans' daily lives. That's one of our primary focuses. We're pushing legislation to lower the cost of putting food on the table, fight price gouging at the pump, keep the cost of insulin affordable, relieve supply chain crisis, and increase competition through antitrust enforcement. In all those ways, just take the example of the oil companies. They made record profits this year, more than they ever have. I think it's over $200 billion for the top companies, and yet they did record stock buybacks. Here, price of oil is going way up, and what are they doing? Even from their own point of view, they're not improving their own production, let alone help their employees or reduce prices. Instead, it's to feather the nests of CEOs and rich shareholders. It's outrageous. And one of the reasons we want to get Bedoya on the FTC is to look into it, but as you'll hear from Senator Cantwell, we're exploring legislative approaches as well. These are all areas where Congress can now take action to help American families. But to move quickly, of course, the way the Senate works, we need cooperation from our Republican colleagues. Pointing fingers isn't going to help fight inflation. It isn't going to lower the costs for American families. They need to get on board and not let extraneous political issues get in the way of the Senate delivering help for families. We're also going to continue to confirm President Biden's administrative... Hey, folks. Can't hear. Thank you. We're going to continue confirming President Biden's administrative and judicial nominees. This week, we're teed up to confirm President Biden's nominees to the FTC, the Federal Reserve, Department of Labor, Department of Housing and Urban Development, and District Court. Now, we've had some issues with attendance that just arose in the last few hours, but we're going to continue pushing to get the President's nominees confirmed. These health issues will not deter us from getting these done. Also, during this work period, the Senate's ready to work quickly to approve the President's expected emergency funding request to support the people of Ukraine in their fight against Russian aggression. Once the President makes his request to Congress, approving additional aid for Ukraine will be a priority. I expect both sides to work in the same bipartisan way we did the first time to get a Ukraine supplemental done. So we got a lot to do. Let me call on who's more senior.
What are your thoughts on what Chuck Schumer has to say? A lot of big, bold promises there. Will Democrats come through with the promises? If not, it's going to be a disaster for the midterm elections. Let me know your thoughts on all that down in the comments below. So Dems offer reality check on Manchin, Build Back Better. So it's not called the Building a Better America. Looks like the Build Back Better is still making headlines here, but there could be some issues. Manchin says he's not for reviving Biden's Build Back Better agenda. So are we going to see the same exact thing that happened before? And to make it more clear, Manchin saying there's not a Build Back Better revival. Is it something new? Is it something else? So Manchin is the crucial 50th vote to getting something passed in the Senate before midterms, and Joe Manchin says there's not a Build Back Better revival. He said this yesterday. Manchin said legislation that deals with major social changes as the BBB sought to tackle free preschool, clean energy projects, and healthcare needs to go through the regular Senate process and build consensus. Basically, what that means is that it needs to be voted on a bipartisan way. Joe Manchin doesn't want to use the stimulus reconciliation where it's just the 50 Democrats in the Senate and then Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker. So he says then if you think you need reconciliation because you got a piece of legislation but people are playing politics with it, that's another. We haven't had hearings on any of these things. So Joe Manchin keeping it real as usual, telling the Democrats, saying that he is not going to go through with it, even though it has all the other Democrats' support. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Are we going to see another big disaster going on between Joe Manchin and the Democrats promising things and then Joe Manchin going against it? Let me know your thoughts on this. It just looks like a train wreck happening in slow motion, in my opinion. It's the same setup as before. Democrats promising a lot and then not being able to fulfill it because of Joe Manchin. But let me know your thoughts on that. Next, stimulus, $2,000 water bill assistance for low-income households. So this is going on in Maryland. The Maryland Department of Human Services has created a new stimulus program that will help low-income families with their water bill. So $2,000 in water. I was curious about this. I don't even know if I go through that in an entire year, but take quick showers. I actually don't water my lawn. I'm very strict when it comes to resources in general. Unless there's an unlimited amount of resources, then maybe I'll be a little more friendly. But when it comes to electricity, to gas, water, you can ask my family. I'm very strict with using all those type of things. I don't even like to use air conditioning or heating, but maybe that's just me. Or not much, just, a little bit. And then stimulus update, there's bipartisan support for this type of financial relief. So many Americans are hoping for additional stimulus payments. There's bipartisan support for an expanded child tax credit. More help for families is the most likely type of stimulus relief that will come from Washington. So what is talking about here? Basically, this whole article is saying that there's a Republican, Mitt Romney, talking about a child tax credit and then how the Democrats want the child tax credit as well, and somehow that makes it bipartisan support. There may be some Republicans who are for the child tax credit, but overall, we're not seeing a child tax credit happen anytime soon. Things may start to develop over the next few days and weeks just because the Democrats are trying to get as much things as possible. So I'll keep you updated, although I'll keep it real. I think there's a slim chance that a child tax credit will be passed, especially since Joe Manchin is not in support of it, and his vote really matters in this situation. Then stimulus check for Colorado. So I mentioned this yesterday. There's going to be $400 checks. So according to a recent statement, the governor stated that he would be giving out $400 to each qualified citizen in Colorado, and this is probably going to come out during the summer. So that's $400 for singles, $800 for couples. $800 stimulus checks for Colorado, and then about 600,000 Americans to start getting direct payments worth up to $600 in weeks thanks to new law. So this is Delaware. Delaware is giving out $300 stimulus checks, so $300 for singles, $600 for couples, and yeah, that's going to go out as well there. Basically, you are not eligible to receive relief rebate payment for a deceased family member, even if they filed a 2020 tax return. So it's just that, and it's going to be a one-time. It's going to be mailed out to most recent address on file. That's for the Delaware $300, $600 stimulus checks. And that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing when you feel sad, you have to do something that you really want to make you feel better or make you feel true. Or you can also, if you help somebody, then you'll feel even better or something. Or if something's really into you and you're really feeling good, you should do that as well. Bye, this is Bella. This was the tip of the day.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget, giving out the $200 checks. If you haven't signed up already, you have a couple days left to do so. I'm announcing the winners by random in a few days, so take some action on that. And if you want to check out my latest pickleball video, you could click this video right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.